Villain right now. As many of you know, throughout the years, I'm a heavy hip hop head. Um, got 500 albums in the library. Showing the library camera person. Um, just got a lot of love for the culture. I used to rap myself. I used to write blogs, do album reviews, critiques, interview local rappers. It's just a need that I have to kind of be in tune with the culture and the music. So as you all know, the Fall Off just dropped. I'm gonna do a little album review on that, and hopefully, if this goes right and I feel comfortable doing it, and I get good reaction from you guys, that it'll become a thing, and I can start doing an album every week. Put out playlists. Just do different things to kind of give back to a culture that's been so good to me over the years. First of all, J. Cole, he's one of the best rappers, of our generation. Pretty much top three. He's coming out with his last album, The Fall Off, and it's a double album. It's got 24 tracks. He gave us a lot on this album. 24 tracks. That's a beast to take on. So 24 tracks. That's a beast to take on. So it's like I'm gonna tell you a little breakdown for every track. My personal opinion. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I do know more than a little bit. So a lot of people just think that I have a good ear for music. So I just gave my opinion on how I felt about certain tracks. The first album is kind of like starts off with the 29 intro, and he's kind of giving us his mind space and his perspective of coming back to the Ville after he's been a signed artist for a little bit, and he's 29, and he's giving us his reflection on things. The second disc got the 39 intro, where he's 39 and a little older and reflecting on different things. The thing about Cole is a lot of people say he's boring. A lot of the critics, or his music sounds monotonous. The thing about Cole is, you kind of already know what you're getting. It's like you got kind of four different kind of Coles in my opinion. You got Cole in his concept mode, where he's kind of experimenting with different kind of music, or he might have a certain sound where he's different rappers, or he's telling the story backwards. You got the storytelling, nostalgic Cole, where he's talking about Fayetteville and the streets he used to run on. You got the introspective Cole, where he's reflecting on his past, present, or life. And then you kind of got the cocky, confident Cole, where he's just, spitting bars and giving you that heat. This album, he's giving you pretty much a few tracks of each, and, a couple lanes he kind of weaves together. First of all, the first disc starts off with 2-6, good hype intro. It's a good hype intro. Cole, he's just giving you them bars. It's nothing like really exceptional. It's nothing bad. It's just, a good start off to the album. It got the Fayetteville chant in it. It's just something to ride to. So, I like it. The next track, Safety, is basically typical storytelling Cole. A lot of people say that it kind of reminds them of One Love with Nas back in the day, where he's talking to his friends. But this track, like Cole, friends are kind of talking to him, and they're talking about different things going on in Fayetteville. And, it's a cool track. Like, I like it. The next track, Run the Train, has Future as a feature, and I don't really too much care for this track. It's kind of mid. Like, I could have did without it. So I'm not saying it's a bad track per se, but it's kind of skippable for me. The next track is Poor Thing, and that track that's got some serious heat on it. Like, I love the beat. Cole's aggressive on this one. This is the cocky, confident Cole. He's just giving you that heat. Cole's clearly pissed off on this song. He's got some memorable lines on it. The more I gotta struggle is the more I gotta gain. Like, he's saying that in the second verse, and he's just going in. The next track, Legacy, I could have did without that track. It's not really one of my faves. The next track, Bunce Road Blues. Now, that to me is like an exceptional track. You got Alchemist doing the beat, and the track has got kind of like a xylophone type feel. Bunce Road Blues. Bunce Road is a street that's familiar to a lot of people here in Fayetteville, and Cole's just kind of reminiscing and telling a story about when he was on Bunce Road. You got Future again on this track, where he's singing a little hook, got a little dash of Usher in it. You got Tim's on the track, she's singing. It's just a crazy, weird combination to have Cole, Alchemist, Future, and Tim's on the track, and they're rapping about Bunce Road. Who would have thought? This track is nice. The next track is really another favorite for me. Who the F Is You. Cole got the Mobb Deep sample in the beginning, Drop a Gem on him. If anybody's familiar with it, it's got like some real sinister keys on it. It's just, when you first hear it in the beginning, like any serious hip hop head that was familiar with the 90s knows the track. Cole's like aggressive on this one. He's just going in, like he's getting in his bag. This to me, like, is kind of like the epitome of what a J. Cole artist is, or who J. Cole is. Like, okay, you got this track with the 90s sample beat. It's got like that New York flavor sound to it. And then you got the down south chants in it throughout the track. Now the beat kind of switches up towards the end of the track, which I didn't really like, but who am I to say? But the fact that Cole was a down south artist, went up north, and then came back down, like that's kind of like the perfect marriage. And then, you know what I'm saying, the way Cole flowed on the track is just crazy. Like, in my opinion, a lot of people say that in the second verse he kind of got like an Eminem type going in his verse. To me, the first track kind of has like a Method Man sound to it. And, you know, Cole, he's amazing on this song. Honestly, to me, out of all his albums, this is lyrically Cole's best. Like, every track kind of sounds different. Like, Cole, he's just going in. The next track is Drum and Bass. It's a solid track. I'm not going to say it's like really, really good. It's not bad. It's just kind of there. Like, you know, it's just something to listen to. The Let Out is not really one of my favorites. I could pass. The next track, Bombs in the Ville, I could kind of pass on that one. Cole sings a lot on this album. He sings here and there in other albums in his career, but I think on this album he sings the most. Bombs in the Ville is not really one of my favorites, but I do like the part where he's like, let's run away, you know what I'm saying? Cole singing it with his whole chest. So you can tell like he's passionate. The next track, Lonely at the Top, I could have did without that one. It's not really one of my favorites. And when I say like I could have did without it, I'm not necessarily saying that they're bad songs per se. I'm just saying that 24 tracks, again, it's hard to go like flawless on each track. So you most likely gonna have like some that are, you know, kind of mid or like kind of throwaways. The next track, the next disc is the 39 intro, and Cole comes off again like singing. He's melodic. I really love how it starts off with Cole singing, and then you hear the guitar kick in. You know, like you can tell that Cole's about to lock in. Like the first album, to me, he was just kind of lacing up his sneaks, taking practice shots. The second disc, like he's really in the game, and he's like about to get in his bag and show you his moves. Like I really like how the second disc starts off. The next track is The Fall Off is Inevitable. Cole is just storytelling, rapping backwards about his whole life. He starts off watching his funeral. He's dead. He goes back to being a grandparent. He goes back to being married. Goes back to being signed. Goes back to growing up. Goes back to being born. It's just a crazy track. It puts you in the mind of Rewind with Nas back in the day, where Nas kind of just told a story from events that happened in one night that he told backwards, but Cole kind of takes it a step further and tells his whole life backwards. Like this is awesome. Like this is concept Cole, like I mentioned earlier. The next track is my personal favorite, The Villas. It's got the Mobb Deep sample in the beginning. Cole's going back to Mobb Deep. The Realest, which was a track from the 90s, had Mobb Deep, Cool G rap. When the gas reveal, your cats get peeled, and that's the deal. That right there was a heater. That was a classic. So Cole got Omen on the beat, doing the beat, if I'm correct. One of his artists from his label, and he's got him doing the track. He's got Erykah Badu on the hook. He's got an Outkast reference. He's got a catchy hook. I mean, the track is just hypnotic. I mean, you listen to it after a while, you find yourself singing the hook. It's like, I got something I want to tell you. It's hard. It's like I said, it's my personal favorite, The Villas. The next track. Hold on, bear with me. The next track after The Villas is let me see. The next track after The Villas is Old Dog. I really like this track too. It's got P.D. Pablo on the hook. If everybody isn't familiar with P.D. Pablo, he was like the first mainstream rapper from North Carolina to like, you know, kind of blow up. Cole kind of pays homage, puts him on the hook. Cole's talking his stuff on this track. He's aggressive. He's in his bag. Like, hey, you don't really want to mess with Cole. To me, this is like when Cole's at his best. From 39 intro, Fall Off is Inevitable, The Village to Old Dog. Like that 4-track stretch, like Cole's just knocking home runs out the park. Like I said, to me, this is when he like really locks in and gets in his bag. So to me, like I said, this 4-track run is the best to me. After this track, Life Sentence is kind of like a DMX, kind of paying homage to him. He kind of took the concept of slipping with the little hook, and it's like a love story. This isn't really one of my faves. I could have did without this one. I kind of understand what he was doing, but to me, it kind of sounds like generic. Like another kind of rapper could have did it, like Fabulous or Big Sean, like Wale, one of those type of rappers. The next track is Only You. Now, to me, that was a better love song. That song was a little deeper. Like, it talks about your woman having your kids, you washing dishes for her, doing anything you can to make her happy. It's got Burna Boy on the hook. This, to me, Burna Boy being on this track and Erykah Badu on The Village, these to me are the best features on the album. Like, Burna Boy really did his thing. Like, I love this song, Only You. It's a real gem. The next track, Man Up Above, it's a solid track. It's cool. It's something to ride to. I'm not going to really say it's awesome. Not going to really say it's bad. It's just, a track. I Love You Again and What If are the next two tracks. This is Concept Cole at his best. I Love You Again is kind of like Common. I Used to Love Her. Cole paying homage to hip hop, his relationship with it. He fell in love with it. He was chasing it. He had bad feelings about it. It kind of goes back to it. It's a good track. It's kind of got that feel from, like I said, The Light with Common, the old Jay Dilla track. I love this song. This is a good song. The next track of What If is Cole kind of rapping from the perspective of Pac and Biggie when they were still alive. When the beef started, like he's Biggie in the first verse and then he's Pac in the second. And Cole even kind of takes it a step further and kind of mimics their delivery, or kind of like how they would speak to each other on the track. This is a good one. A lot of people say too that this track kind of maybe put Cole in the mind of his beef that he had with Drake with Kendrick and the whole Drake situation, which I could kind of see that. I mean, I don't know what Cole was thinking when he made this song, but it's some genius work. Like I said, this is Concept Cole at his best. The next track, Quick Stop, I love this track too. Cole, it basically tells a story about how he's at the Quick Stop. A guy that sells flowers, or a fan walks up on him and just tells him how much he loves his music. And he's just very passionate and just going in about, what Cole's music means to him and, how he's going through life. And this is a good song. Like, this to me is what a lot of fans are going to miss about J. Cole. Like, this is like J. Cole at his best. Like, you can just hear it and you're just looking at the tracks and they're winding down and you're listening to this. You're like, dang, like this is really it. You know what I'm saying? This is it. So Quick Stop to me is another standout. The next track, The Whole World Is DeVille, it's kind of like a little happier song. Cole just kind of taking a victory lap, just giving his last little ride through Fayetteville, telling about the streets and how he grew up and a little happier times, how he started doing ciphers. The hook in it is a shout out to the old crew that he used to rap kind of alongside with, Ground Zero, which was a crew from Fayetteville in the mid 2000s. This is a good song. I like this song too. The next track, Ocean Way, is a wrap up of the album, and this to me is Cole just chilling, just sitting back. He's in his beach chair, just looking out like, hey, I conquered the world. Like I started off with this vision, this idea. I chased a dream. I became bigger than what I could have imagined, and I'm just taking a breath in and just chilling. I mean, he's singing on this track. He's relaxed. It was a good way to wrap up the album, in my opinion. So, Ocean Way, that was the closer. So after all this talking, all this critiquing, you asked what do I give the album? To me, I think the album is great. I kind of put it alongside Forest Hills. I'm trying to figure out which one I like better. I don't know why we do that as hip hop people. or just people in general, we automatically always got to compare something to something else. I mean, you can't just look at something separate and say, hey, this is great. But, I mean, in that sense, I'm looking at Forest Hills like, that was an awesome album. This album to me is awesome, but it's just 24 tracks. Like I said, that's a mammoth to try to like undertake. I could leave out maybe about 6 or 7 tracks, and that 17 or 18 would have been awesome. So I'm gonna give it an 8 Honda Civics out of 10. And anybody that's following Cole right now kind of knows the thing about the Honda Civics. So I give it 8 Honda Civics out of 10. And like I said, it's hard to trim the fat to get down to that classic album. Another reason why I would probably give it an 8 is because I would have wanted to hear like a feature with Cole and another rapper rapping alongside him. I mean, you had Future, you had Erykah Badu, you had Tim's, Burna Boy. They were all kind of singing alongside Cole, Murray. But you never had no J.I.D., you never had a Joyner Lucas, you never had a Daylight, you never had a Sci-Hi the Prince. You never had like those type of artists alongside Cole. I mean, it's kind of arguable like if that's really needed, but in my opinion, I think it might would have like added to the album. But you know, it's cool. I mean, like I said, I'm just a listener and a fan like everybody else. So again, I'm gonna give it 8 Honda Civics out of 10. Again, this is my first time doing this live. We had some technical difficulties the last time I did this. I hope anybody enjoyed this review, or anybody who hasn't listened to it can go back and have some, you know, listen and enjoy it. Or anybody that has already listened to it can go back and have some insight on these tracks. I love the album overall, and like I said, I love the culture, and I just wanted to try to contribute back in a way that I felt, you know, was needed. Because people ask my opinion about music all the time, and you know, I like to give it sometimes. So again, y'all have a good night. Thank you. Bye.